Meet me. All right, welcome back, boys. And today we're gonna do an account review of myself because people are always asking me how my heroes are built and stuff. And conviction season just ended, so I figure it's a good time. I failed to finish Legend. I was Legend pretty much all season, but then I've been doing nothing but playing Lost Ark for the last 3 weeks, and apparently in those 3 weeks, the meta shifted pretty heavily, and I didn't really know what was going on. And I will do a review on this thing soon. I vastly underestimated how strong this was, and after being pummeled by her multiple times on the last day, I raced to build her. Unfortunately, I didn't even have enough molas, and I couldn't really get together that great gear for her. But this thing is definitely really strong and whooped my ass on the last day because A. Ravi was a core unit of mine. I think I finished like 130 or something, but I gave up with like an hour and a half left in the season because I would have had to win like 9 matches in a row without losing, and I didn't think that was realistic. But we'll see. I did record some of it, but my computer kept crashing, so maybe I'll upload my final day. But I stopped recording at some point because Bluestacks kept freezing. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's go into all of my heroes. I've been pretty lazy the past 2 seasons, to be honest, but some of my units got pretty good gear. But because I haven't really been buying much packs, and I only farm on hunt event days, with all the new heroes coming out, it's been hard to keep up. But since Hua Young is at the top, let's start with her. I think she's okay. I think she's a little squishier than some of the ones that I've seen. But because her damage scales on the HP difference, I think that's fine. And I used bottles to plus 30 this on the last day. Overall, I think she's okay, but I think she's definitely not one of the better ones because I did fail to one-shot certain A-Ravis, whereas other ones I versed seem to hit my A-Ravi for like 28k. So I don't know if people are running around with like 8k attack, 220 speed Huayungs. But yeah, it did okay. It did okay, but honestly, she got banned most of the time, so that's fine. This I don't use, but I never removed her gear, but I don't think I drafted... Well, maybe I drafted her like twice the entire season. This I don't really use. This is my Charlotte. She is fine. I don't mind her gear. I can't say I draft her all that much because of things like Rimuru and now there's a lot of things that can one-shot in this game now. But into the right draft, like, you know, S10A teams with blinds and stuff, she actually does pretty good. So I did draft her. I don't want to say commonly, but you know, regularly enough where I think I could say that she's usable. Never use, never use, never use. Mercedes I draft occasionally, but her gear is not too hot, and I have to say when I did draft her, my win rate was probably like 10%. I usually just drafted her to scare them because Mercedes can be scary against certain teams. But this thing like literally never seems to proc for me, and I don't really like using her at all. But yeah, I did use her. Milim, her gear is okay. I gotta say, I never really drafted her in the past like 3 weeks, but against certain landy teams, she does end up being like, I almost just pick her and then she gets banned because against certain landy teams, she's a must ban. But other than that, I can't say she's, I don't know, that usable into a wide range of situations, so I never really used it. Politis, I mean, her main problem is mine doesn't really have any molas, but just a standard DPS Politis, super squishy. I considered moving her to like a tank ER build, but meh, whatever. Carrot I still like, not very usable in today's meta, but in certain teams she works. Just the classic tanky, slowish Carrot build. PvE Tama, Rem, I stole her plus 30 Sigurds and gave it to Lionheart Sermia because I wasn't really drafting Rem anymore. But her gear's the same and she's okay into certain drafts, but she fell off a lot after, you know, Rimuru started dunking her face off. My Krau's gear has not changed in 2 seasons, but he's fine. I actually used him a decent amount, even on the last day, because I couldn't really figure out how to deal with Hua-Young, and I just wanted to be able to one-shot her because her stupid barrier makes her so hard to kill. So I gotta say, I actually used this a lot. I also draft her into LQC because the splash damage from LQC makes it very easy to horse early and kill something. So I actually like Krau. Don't use, don't use, don't use. Kisei I used, but not really, because she's really on BT gear. She used to be like 280 speed, but I stole most of her good gear because that's a problem with Epic 7 right now. It's not only a problem, but there's so many good new heroes that even if you have good gear, it gets very hard to build all of them because, at some point you're going to have a lot of good gear pieces, right? But the thing is they keep releasing more and more heroes. You have to keep getting more and more gear, right? That's why the game feels like it never ends. Because right now, like, let's say we went back in time. I took my same gear and went back in time to 3 seasons ago. I'd be one of the best geared players just because I'd have so much gear that I could focus onto like 20 units. But right now, there's so many units that you really want to have built to do high-end RTA, which makes it hard to build things. Like, Kisei, I think, is very strong into certain drafts, but mine's a super slow now because I just can't afford to put my best gear on her. My Pure is fine. I actually used her a decent amount. I think she's very strong. 310 speed, not the best, not the worst. Probably middle range, but she definitely did fine. And yeah, I think I like the way she's built. A little on the squishy end, and no effectiveness, but whatever. This I never used. I guess I should probably put a chest on her in case I ever do want to use her. This is my Wyvern SSB. Did not use her in RTA. This I don't use. This I don't use. This is B tier gear. Again, I stripped most of her best gear because I was never using her, and she had some of my best speed effectiveness gear. Never use, never use. This I used a decent amount, but really her gear is terrible. Look at her ER. So she actually cost me a lot of matches because random Belions would just provoke her easily when they get the effectiveness buff. I really should have fixed her gear for that final day because she's quite good now, especially comboed with like, Hua-Young and LQC. But I was just too lazy. I didn't care enough. This I don't use. Rimuru is a standard DPS Rimuru. Some people go the tanky proof route. I just like one-shotting crap with him. That's usually his rule for me. This I picked a few times just to scare people into banning it, but as you could see, the gear was absolutely atrocious, and more importantly, no molas. On the last day, I used a lot of those green friendship things just so I could get 3 friendship things into her. But yeah, this is not usable in her current state. Violet I used all the time. As much as I hate this hero, I thought he was really strong, but then again, that Hua-Young release 2 days before season end screwed me because Hua-Young obliterates him. Fire unit plus can just one-shot him. So yeah, my drafting style really got neutered by that last week. Like Hua-Young's release plus some of those balance changes, real problem for Violet. Landy, I hate using her. I used her enough where I can't say like she's useless, but the main reason I hate Landy is this. There's so many matches with Landy, if you use like a DPS Landy, where whether you win or lose is predicated on this. Now, granted, the odds are in your favor, right? 70% to 30%. But somehow, whenever I need to proc, I feel like it just doesn't proc and I auto-lose, which is why I really hate using Landy, which is also a big reason why some people run Bruiser Landys and just forego Guiding Light altogether, because they don't even want to deal with that. Poor Pavel used to be one of my favorites, but he has been butchered. He doesn't even have a ring or boots. This I didn't use. Don't use. This I actually used a lot. Again, her gear is pretty ass, but my rationale with Rowana was just that against the team she works against, she doesn't really need good gear. She dunks them anyway. Although I did lose, this is not even reforged. Although I did lose a few times because of this. Again, I'm very lazy when it comes to gearing. The ER meant that some archdemons actually sealed her and cost me the game. But I just, whatever. At that point, I just lose. I just don't care. Commander Lilius, mine is okay, too slow. Really, you want her to be at least 305 to use her as a viable speed contest, because with 305 speed, even if they have like a 311 ran or a 313 ran, like most rans are between 305 and like 315. Some of them, the crazy ones will be 320, but that's very rare. At that point, just lose. But you want around 305 because the thing is with speed RNG, a decent number of the time you will outspeed stuff like Rans and Puras just because of that RNG. Mine is too slow though. Like a 310 Pura, I'm not going to outspeed it no matter what the RNG. But that's why you really want around 305. But unfortunately, I don't have that gear. She does have like a lot of my best speed gear, but like this thing sucks. That's my best speed sword. This thing is atrocious. This is the main reason I can't get her fast, but I don't have a better health speed ring. It is what it is. This I never used. This I tried to use a few times because Judge Kisei is actually quite strong. People think she's trash. She kind of is, but as a 5 pick against a standard slow mediator Cowrick team, a lot of times she's a must ban. So people underestimate her because you can't really draft her very often. But into the right draft, she's actually quite dangerous. Lionheart Sturmia, I wish I could gear her a little better. This is the best I could do. I think I should have gotten rid of Sigurd's Scythe, but I really like my Charlotte on Symbol. I feel like she didn't do enough damage on this build, so I really needed like a different artifact or maybe get a little bit more defense and a lot less HP. The reason I wanted HP is because Rimarus were a problem for me, but overall, she did her job. Like, if you pick her into someone drafting a lot of counter units, she's particularly good against ML Lilius because she's forcing that S1 every time. She's a very good hero. I think this is a kind of hero where I like it because it's not broken, but it's very strong in the right situation. Although it also, I warned everyone about this like a long time ago, right? As more and more heroes came out, that the game was becoming more rock, paper, scissors. That's where RTA is at now. So when people complain about hero diversity in RTA, I don't get it because honestly, I think this season, in terms of hero diversity, has been the best season yet. Like, I'm not going to say I like the meta, but there were so many heroes that were viable and usable this season, way more than there were. Like, season 1, you had like 10 heroes you could use. Like, this last season, like, the sheer amount of heroes that you can reliably draft was amazing. So, like, if anyone expects all 300 heroes in the game to be usable in RTA, that's a joke. That's never going to happen. But honestly, I think there were like 50 or 60 this season, which is crazy good. But the problem is the drafting phase is actually even more important now than it ever was because the game is so rock, paper, scissory. Like, you just try to keep jamming counters into each other because there's so many heroes where they can literally 1v3 your team if they get through. I don't personally like it, but in terms of hero diversity, I think Smilegate is doing a good job. Now, making it fun, that's a different story because I don't find that fun, but it is what it is. LQC, she's fine. Mine's super squishy, but I don't use her that much. I just want her to hit hard, so I put her on pen set. She obliterates like every APOC Ravi, although a lot of them now are going proof because of freaking Huayang, so maybe not anymore. But, I mean, she could barely do that against proof APOCs before anyway. Like, in Guild Wars, you might run into that. Not so much in RTA. Beeline I use a lot. Standard Beeline build. Nothing insane, but she's definitely not bad. I had no problem with her. Sea Armin, by the end of the season, no one used him. Her, whatever. But whatever. I mean, I don't use him, so I don't care. Fighter Maya I used to love, but she is stripped. She's not usable. LR Crow, same gears 2 seasons ago. Spirit Isoline, there was a spot where she was good. Like, this is the kind of problem with new heroes, right? Spirit Isoline was very good into certain situations. Huayang obliterated that because unless you intend to pre-ban Huayang with the express purpose of just taking Spirit Eye Celine, Huayang literally kills Spirit Eye Celine with the S1. Because you want her to have low life so that her lifesteal gets her above 50%, right? Huayang just one-shots her. It's like an absolute joke. So it's another example of how like Kayron got obliterated by so many units stripping. Spirit Eye Celine kind of got obliterated by Huayang existing. Like, even on Guild Wars defense, some people used like Spirit Eye Celine, Rem, and ML Lilius or something. Huayang's just going to obliterate that now. So, yeah, I mean, I like Spirit Eye Celine a lot. I actually plus 15'd her, and now she's kind of garbage fire. Don't use, don't use, don't use. AOL is still very strong into the right team. A lot of times a must-ban situation. Her gear is not great. Her effectiveness is fine. Her speed is okay. The tankiness was not there. Like, honestly, the AOLs that are the most annoying ones are the ones that are pretty tanky. And I even saw a few on Proof where, like, a lot of times you just want to focus the AOL down first and get rid of that annoying control and just deal with the unbuffable. All right, I have a phone call. Give me a second. I'll be right back. All right. Sorry about that. Had to take that call. All right. So, yeah, I think I was talking about AOL. I forgot where my head was. Let's move on. Sage Ball. I love him. I use him all the time against cleavers, and it really messes them up. Especially if they don't have Politis there, and he just cuts and ruins their entire day. And mine was also... I mean, he's not fast, but he's not slow. He's like fast enough where he's not going to get outsped by other speed contesters like most Closet Charles and Opsigs and stuff. Obviously, a Ran or an Acid or something like that will outspeed him. But I love him. Solitaria, I built her like the last day of the season, and I didn't use her at all. But I did lose to her several times. What the hell is her artifact? Why did I have this on her? Well, it's a good thing I didn't use her. I think it was because I was farming Friendship, and this is probably one of the bonus artifacts. But yeah, I mean, I think it was okay. But I don't know because I never used her. This is unusable. Don't use an RTA. This is the same maid that I've always had, but I switched to Bastion. Because I used to use her on Shimadra, but I found that after I lowered her ER a bit, she was actually getting debuffed by stuff. So I changed her to Bastion, and she resisted everything after that. Ruel, I didn't use her that much. Her gear has not really changed, although she's on Idol's Cheer now, but she's not really my style of play. I only 5-picked her into people who had really low DPS drafts to force them to ban her. Again, a lot of the heroes that I don't have geared super well, I only intend to draft them in 5 as a must ban, and so I don't really care about their gear quality that much. Ravi, I love her. She is my number 1 hero. Unfortunately, a lot of my drafts centered around having Ravi solo their whole team, and Huayang just made... Because really before, the only thing that you really had to be scared of was LQC. But Emilia Huayang LQC was a very common draft that I found if I early picked Ravi, and it was very hard to deal with. So I think Ravi's stock, I mean, she's still very good, don't get me wrong, but Huayang definitely kind of changed how safe Ravi is, because a well-geared Huayang just blasts her. But I liked my build. She has a little lower health because I historically have really liked having high defense. But with Huayang out, unfortunately, I'll probably just have to change her up. You know, well, I don't really care, but I'd have to lower her defense significantly and give her a lot more health. And maybe through Aurea she can barely survive and do something to heal herself up. But I think she was great until Huayang came out. Delibet, I didn't use this once, but she's actually quite popular now, which is... I didn't think, to be honest, even after the balance patch, she would be particularly good. Apparently I was wrong, because a lot of top players are drafting her. With that said, I didn't really feel like she was that hard to deal with, so I don't know. I mean, she's okay, like she hits decently hard, but I think if you have Rimuru, she is a big liability because a lot of times I would first pick Pyrrha and they would pick this into me, and then I would draft Rimuru. And the thing is, you get to cut with Rimuru if they do that because the Pyrrha will push the designer Lilibet up. She self buffs defense, so she has a buff. And then if she tries to cleanse, Rimuru goes in, cuts, and blasts someone on their team. So I used that a lot against Delibet. So I mean, the top players are using her for a reason. She must be strong in a lot of situations, but I still don't really like her that much. Infernal Kawazu, I love this hero. I think he got a huge buff from this artifact. The damage that he does is crazy now. Like an extra burn adds a lot of damage to Infernal Kawazu. So I picked him a lot, even into teams without any DPSs, and he actually was my go-to pick against Hwayoung because he can one-shot Hwayoungs. So I used him a lot. I'm probably the only player in like the top 1,000 who was regularly drafting Infernal Kawazu. And my favorite part about using him was anytime I drafted him, the other guy, they would just stop picking heroes. And I could just imagine their face behind their screen. It's like, wait, what do I have on my team? What's he trying to do with this hero? Because like they would literally have zero AoE DPS, and I would just jam in Infernal Kawazu, and they'd be like, well, what is this guy picking this for? But the other reason I picked him was to deter AoE DPSs, right? Because if they don't know the rest of my picks, they're scared to pick AoE units after this. And also, he does well against Delibet for that reason. I would jam Rimuru and Infernal Kawazu, and it's like, go ahead and cleanse. If you do, Infernal Kawazu is going to push up and one-shot someone on your team. So I used him a lot against Delibet as well. But I love his hero. Unfortunately, his gear is just not particularly good. I have some long, like, look at this. I have like crit damage pieces on him. You got to work with what you have, but I actually enjoy Infernal Kawazu a lot. Never use this. This is horrendous gear. This I use all the time. All the time. Busted hero. He's a little squishier than or a lot squishier than a lot of Mediator Cowricks because I actually like DPS stats on him. People underestimate his damage. He actually scales really hard on damage. You're going to see that all his gear is like crit damage and crit chance on it. He hits hard. His multis are very good. And he's cleaned up a lot of fights for me. So I like damage stats on him. Some people forego DPS entirely, and they'll just turn him into like 28k HP, like 280 speed mediators. I wanted him to be a little DPS-y. Strays, I used him a decent amount. I wish mine was faster, but again, you got to work with the gear you have. But he did win me a lot of matches. Has not changed in 2 seasons, I think. This is a trash can troublemaker, but it's fine because I only use him against Cleave. And, the goal with him in that is just make sure the backline survives and then die. You don't need great gear to do that. RB is getting worse and worse over time as I steal more and more of his gear pieces because I literally never draft this. This is probably one of my best geared heroes. My Acid, I love him. 312 speed, 100% crit. Not the highest DPS stats, and he hits less. I used to have him on pen set, but he was only 302 speed on pen set, I think. But what did I pick up? I picked up this bad boy this season, so I switched him to crit, and I'm able to hit 312 speed. So this Acid is amazing. He's won me so many matches just in the opener where game starts, he takes the first turn, I kill the Pyrrha or whatever, automatic win. Don't use this just as a scare pick, but she's not very fast and her damage sucks ass. 210 crit damage. So I almost never used her because a lot of times I just wanted them to ban her, but she got through and I would lose. This I used occasionally, only if the situation called for it, because his gear kind of sucks. Riolet, I don't use him much. He's not very good. He's not very good. I love his playstyle, but the problem is the balance patch. Solitaria poops all over him, and again, Hua just kills him in one hit. Hua just kills him in one hit through a miss. Like, Hua is just too strong. Like, Hua has made a lot of really good historic heroes irrelevant. Like, Violet was very strong until Hua came out, but now Hua just punches him in the face, and Violet, since he's typically even squishier than Violet, gets punched in the face even harder. My Op 6 sucks, so I never use him because she never one-shots anything. Yeah, her gear is just ass. This I used a lot. Again, so you're seeing a common theme here, right? All of my favorite heroes are dumpstered by Hua Hua destroys Archdemon. Why? Because a lot of people don't know that her damage mitigate, the reason she's so tanky is this. It only works against critical hits, though. So Hua just dumpsters her in one hit with the S3. So again, another toxic, annoying hero that I like to use, completely invalidated by Hua I actually started pre-banning her later on in the final day because I just kept losing to her. Champ Z I love. I don't use him very often, but when I do, because mine's such high defense, people always get tripped up by that and he ends up soloing their whole team. My S10 is like a weird, crappy, balanced S10A, so most people nowadays just pick a full-on DPS S10A on speed set, or sometimes even attacker destruction set just on speed boots. Mine's kind of has like a weird amount of medium bulk. It's too lazy to change her. She works fine. I never cared. This I like, but I never use. This, she's good, but I never used her. I lost to her once. Someone used her, and I thought I had it in the bag. I forgot that she cleanses on her S3 now, and that made her a lot better. But yeah, those are all my heroes. So you guys get a sense of what I have built. Everything else is not fully awakened, which means I would never use it in RTA. And with that out of the way, let's go into my future plans. So at this point for a while, I've pretty much been F2P. I think I'm pretty much just going to stay with that. I'm going to keep buying the monthlies to support Smilegate, and just so I don't fall too far behind in case I get the E7 itch again. I got to be honest, I'm just enjoying Lost Ark a lot more right now. I'll do a separate review video of Lost Ark soon. Lost Ark is not perfect, but I'm kind of tired of E7 right now, and it's not because the game is bad, and I'm not going to be one of these people saying like, oh, Smilegate has ruined everything, now the game is trash. That's not what it is. All it is I've been trying to play efficiently for 2 years, and honestly, ever since I got this, my motivation for playing has gone significantly downhill because, you know what, I'm never going to be a Hall of Fame player, so other than being a legend RTA player, I don't really know what other goal to have. So after I got this frame, I just found it really hard to care because I didn't know what else I'm supposed to accomplish here other than just keeping up with the infinite grind of new heroes and infinite wyvern hunts, and hopefully all you guys will get there too. All you guys will become legend, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But you're going to see a lot of people hit legend and kind of just disappear. I mean, a few just keep going for it every single season, but a lot of people just hit legend, and then you kind of just see them do nothing but like Guild Wars and stuff after that, because it can be stressful, and yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So, you know, for the past 2 seasons, I used to even do all my arenas, right? I tried to use all my flags to be super efficient. I barely do arena. Like, what day is it today? It's Sunday right now. So for the week, I have 8 arena offense attacks, and look at my win rate. I just go with whatever and try to auto it. So yeah, I don't even do arena anymore. I can't stand going into the labyrinth, so I'm always at 3 of 3 tokens. Like, my efficiency has dropped tremendously for quite a while now. The only thing I really try to commit to do is use my mailbox energies and burn them into wyvern. And on hunt events, I try to grind the whole day with all the leaves I have saved up. But other than that, yeah, I'm not quitting the game. I'm going to try to, I know I'm really behind on reviewing a lot of these heroes, so I'm going to be trying to catch up on doing all my hero reviews. Like I never reviewed Pyrrha, I never reviewed Lionheart Sirmia, I need to review Hua-Young. I'm going to try to catch up on all these reviews. I'll try to make more fun E7 content for you guys, but I'm probably also going to be spending, at least for now, a lot of time on Lost Ark because I really, really enjoy the PvP in that game. And it's kind of hard to focus on two games simultaneously. So what I'm doing is I'm hoping for Lost Ark ranked PvP to be a lot of fun and for me to be addicted to it. If it's not the case, I'll probably come back to doing a lot more E7 content because Lost Ark PvE is not for me. I don't like PvE content. But yeah, it's just been hard to focus on E7 because every time I log on to E7, I just wish I wasn't playing this. So the only really time I've played seriously was that last day of the RTA season where I came back and I tried to do that last minute legend push, but I was kind of outdated in the meta and I was getting confused by how much Hua-Young was wrecking my face. I probably should have taken some notes on that and how top players were using Delabet and stuff. But it is what it is. I just don't have the motivation. I just feel like it never ends, right? Like I've crafted so many things. I've spent 2 years playing nonstop, grinding Wyvern, crafting a million pieces of gear, like to give you a sense of how much gear I have. Like newer players will be confused. Like this is all reforged stuff. Like just look at how much grinding I've done, and I just feel like it's never enough. The gear is never good enough. Like you just have to keep going and going and going, and I just need. I'm not quitting, but I just need like a little mental break from E7 for a while, which Lost Ark has been great for. I just, you know, my quote, I always say, keep on grinding, baby. I need a short reprieve from that. So I'm still going to do E7 content. I'm not quitting. Like, don't take this as me saying I hate the game. I still think the game is amazing. I just, when you guys grind nonstop for 2.5 years, and you will feel it. You will feel it after a while. It's happened to a lot of other E7 players where they just kind of temporarily lose interest, and a lot of them will come back eventually. Like Warbolt is an example. I'm pretty sure he quit for like months, and then he like came back, and I don't know if he quit again or something. But you know, the love of the game stays there, but the love of grinding, and well, no one loves grinding. It just it breaks everyone down at some point, and for me, I just can't stand to click all these buttons anymore. On a random side note, I'm actually kind of enjoying Ancient Inheritance. I don't know what the hell is going on in it. I just kind of click whatever is near me. But I like that my guild is talking about stuff and trying to share boss notes and stuff. It actually does feel cooperative, and I thought this thing was going to suck ass. For now, at least, it's actually kind of fun. Who knows if anyone will think it's fun after they have to do it 10,000 times, but for now, I actually think it's pretty good. But anyways, I think we could wrap this video up here. So summary of the video is, you guys saw all my hero stats. I'm not quitting E7, but I intend to be quite casual moving forward while I try to get good at Lost Ark PvP. I'm still going to be using my energy on hunts and stuff so I don't fall too far behind, so I can remain at least somewhat competitive in RTA. But you guys might see a little bit lighter E7 content from me in the future, because I've been struggling to log on to this game and actually do all my stuff for I feel like several months now, and I did it for you guys, but that's just the truth. It is what it is. So anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, peace out, boys.